several hundred people involved. They're not controlled by anyone. The general public is invited, and everybody in each district is invited to participate. And we hope that they will, and we hope that each district meeting will come out with several nominations, not one but several, and that then it goes through the usual procedure of CCA so that no one could possibly know who is going to be on the slate finally.
In District 7, Pleasant Grove, if the people want Jesse Price renominated, will the CCA back him?
They will if he's nominated and he is put on the slate, yes.
Is there anyone the executive committee feels might be nominated from the district meetings that the executive committee would not accept as a council candidate?
Well, I really have no way to answer your question because I have no idea who is going to be nominated. As I said, in these district meetings we have asked and we hope that several people will be nominated in these district meetings.
At about 9 o'clock last Friday night, a 45-year-old Tarrant County police character, Danny McComb, was shot to death here in the 200 block of Burnett Street. Much has been said since Friday night about exactly what caused McComb to be shot. It is known he was a police character. It is assumed that he had dealings with other police characters in the area. Some have said that it must have been a result of prostitution or gambling or other problems in the city. Others say that it was simply a matter of a grudge. Whatever caused McComb to be shot, he was shot twice with a shotgun, and some people in the area say a white car with the headlights off sped away from the scene moments after the two reports. Apparently the shots were heard. Police Detective Lieutenant Oliver Ball said today that from the information his department has been able to gather, it had little or nothing to do with crime and vice specifically and was basically a beef, as Ball said, meaning, of course, that it was an argument simply between McCombs and whoever shot him. The Fort Worth National Bank will be the county depository. That was decided at the county commissioners' court meeting this morning. Commissioner Skeet Richardson pointed out that the city's legal advisor, Jim Morgan, is a good friend of an officer of the Fort Worth National Bank, and that perhaps that was why Morgan had pointed out that the only absolutely legal bid submitted for the depository was by the Fort Worth National Bank. Richardson moved that perhaps other banks should be invited to issue bids. A spokesman was there from the Union Bank. His name is Robert Maddox. He's on the board of directors and is an attorney. He issued an appeal for his bank, but the court overruled on a 3-2 vote, and Fort Worth National is the depository. The matter of Garden Acres came up again before the city council, although we were told last week it would be put off for about 6 months. Today, Bill Sarsgaard, Mayor Pro Tem, said that in his estimation, putting it off for 6 months would just make the proposition more expensive and kept everybody in the area in a state of suspense. However, Commissioners Gwynn and Hoover both said that in their estimation, to bring it up now or even next week would be too soon. So, at least for the moment, Garden Acres is still a dead issue for 6 months. In Fort Worth, Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News.
Well, I think that has been the traditional point of view of the police, that their job is to detect crime, pick them up, lock them up, and then they're through. Whereas I think we must try to see the total effect of law enforcement, detention, court, probation, and institution, and parole on the individual who goes through the process. And that is very important. I think, too, there's apt to be a difference in police attitudes and action with poor minority group people than there are with those who come from the suburbs. There's too much leniency, perhaps, in the suburbs, too much letting the parents take care of the problem. And in the ghettos, in the inner city, then there's too much of a readiness to pick them up, lock them up. And of course, you can see this in the results in the court statistics. They're all poor minority group people for the most part. And this doesn't mean they've committed necessarily more offenses than some of those who live in the suburbs.
Well, I knew nothing about the accusations at all until I read the paper Sunday morning. That was the first I had heard about it at all. STS is a convenient scapegoat for whatever happens in our society now. And when something goes wrong, a lot of people have trouble believing that it could possibly be anything wrong with the way the society's working, so they blame incarnate evil SDS.
SDS has been wrapped rather consistently in recent months by the FBI. They say that SDS is at the center of the new left movement in this country. We'll take that part of the question first. Will you be in agreement in that your group is at the center of the new left movement?
No, that's really a misconception somewhat, because I think the FBI thinks of our movement as a monolith, which it is not. It is extremely unstructured, and there is no leader or no driving force, basically. It's just individual chapters and individual people doing whatever they have to do.
Is there but the one chapter in Dallas, and that is the one at SMU, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, yes.
How large is that chapter?
We don't keep rolls or anything. During the year, we've gotten anywhere from 25 to 65 people coming to a meeting.
What type workshops do you have? Do you have anything concerning disruption of classes, teaching how to disrupt, how to do these things?
No. Right now, we're just trying to begin to educate people about some facts about our society. We know very little about what goes on, and the first thing we have to learn to do is learn what is happening and what can be done about it. And we really don't even know these things yet.
Are you anti-American system or just anti the system now in force in this country?
Well, the system, the American system, has claimed to be, well, the location of all sorts of virtue. And I would compliment them on those virtues that they uphold, but I would really say that they do not uphold them, and for that reason I must refute what they say. They have been too hypocritical with us.
A lot of people say that SDS is among those who also are anti-Vietnam War. A lot of groups are. Does SDS advocate its members not honoring their draft status or selective service?
No, it is said that we will help those soldiers who have some moral qualifications about the war. And they're getting to be a growing number of people who are very uncertain about its morality.
Would the SDS members of Dallas serve in selective service, do you feel?
Most people do. The Army is involuntary servitude, which is supposedly restricted by our Constitution, but as pragmatists, we let it go ahead, another hypocrisy. But the Army has such pressures that it can use on people that I think most everybody at some time or another will be forced to serve.
Mrs. Timmons, in answer to your second question, which was why couldn't more work such as typing be done by homemakers in their home? It's been the industry's experience that the equipment in the home is usually defective in some areas. Also, when women desire to do typing in the home, they have young children. And people who have the typing to be done find that they get coffee spilled on their work, they lose documents, and things of this nature. On her first question, and that is, why is there such a shortage of good-paying part-time jobs in the Dallas-Irving area? I spoke with her and referred her to our Irving office, where we have all types of jobs for ladies who can work from 9 until 2, 9 to 3, or all day, 2 days a week, part-time. Usually, the industry can fit the person to the hours that they have available. Our pay range will vary from $1.75 to possibly $2.50, $2.60 an hour, depending upon the skills that the ladies possess. We have file jobs, typing, steno, key punch, any type of office skills that you ladies possess